Yo, what is up, YouTube? How y'all doing? I'm feeling good right now. I figured I'd make a video. Haven't made one in a while. Oh, not sure if you noticed. Grew this out a little bit, and this. Don't know if any of you watching will like it. I don't know. I just, I figured I'd let it grow out a little bit, see how it felt. It's feeling fine right now. I mean, I got hairs going everywhere, and I gotta sort of figure out how to take care of it, as it were. Let me take that out. Don't need two headphones in. I just haven't made a video in a while. Actually, since I'm making this video right now, I guess I can sort of talk about this. I just did something today. I went to a concert for one of my buddies who I used to work with over at Buffalo Wild Wings. His name is Emilio Sarabia. He's a Christian rapper. And I went over. It started at 6:30. It was his Honest album release party. That's what it was. And I went over around 6:28, 6:30. They did a performance basically from 7 o'clock because everyone still was getting their food and all their drinks. Let me move this a little bit closer right here. Everyone was still getting their food and their drinks. They had pizza and they had water. It was just a small party, but it was nice. It was a nice little event. They had four total artists. I can't remember all of, but it was Emilio. He was the main pull of the entire event. It was a lot of his family, co-workers, including me. But he also invited a couple other artists there. I can't remember two of their names. One of them name was Cam or Com. I can't remember his name, but he's another Christian rapper. And it was a nice little event. It lasted. I thought what it was going to be was, I thought it was just going to be a small release party. So I thought it was going to be him, maybe one or two other artists, and then probably for the last hour or so we would have like a little meet thing at the end, where we basically just like maybe for 30 minutes, where we just sit around and talk in the lobby or in the main thing. But it was nice. It was they had one of the pastors. Well, actually, he wasn't a pastor. I guess he was retired. He said apparently he didn't do that anymore. But he came to support Emilio in his party and in his what do I call it, journey into the Christian music industry. He actually went to Chicago and filmed a music video with one of his favorite rappers. So it was real nice to see something like that go on for him, because when I worked with him, because I don't know if I told y'all yet, I no longer work at Buffalo. When I worked with him, he was such a nice guy. He always did his job. He complained just like all of us, and like he said at the party, he's not a perfect person. He being a Christian, he swears and he tells dirty stories. He told dirty stories and all that, which to a lot of you probably won't sound horrible, but to a Christian guy like him, being from his background, finding Christ and having the upbringing he had, he says it angers him when he talks like that and behaves like that. So, I never thought too much of it, but I guess for him, it was a real issue he was trying to get under control. But actually, when I got there, he seemed surprised that I'd come there. I mean, obviously he wanted me to come, but he seemed genuinely like happy, which made me feel nice. Maybe it was just him, um, trying to, since I came there to support his music career, maybe it was just him trying to make me feel good about it. But I would like to think that I was his friend over at Buffalo. So I like to think that we had a nice friendship going on over there. And so it started at 7, and it went basically, the event time was from 6:30 to 10, and it went basically up till 10 o'clock. He had to actually cut one of his songs he was going to do because of it was going to go way over the time. So he actually stopped his music around 9:50, and then they did a little the one of the I don't know whether to call him a pastor or whether he was just like, I don't know whether he's actually, I think he was a former pastor. I don't think he does it anymore, because I think that's what he said at the beginning. But the pastor there, he did a nice little, not sermon, but basically, if anyone felt like if they wanted to live for Christ and hadn't already accepted him into their life, basically he was doing a prayer. I couldn't remember it. He was doing a prayer. He asked anyone who hadn't accepted Christ into their life to raise their hand, and some people did raise their hand. They stepped up to the stage, and some of the other pastors there walked up behind them, put their hands on their shoulders, and in front of everyone, the pastor basically said, "We're here for you," and he did this little prayer for them, basically saying that after this moment, your lives will be better for accepting Christ into your life, and basically just telling them that their life has changed since they've walked into that church, and after this, their life should change for the better. And so he did that nice little prayer at the end, and then everyone sort of just said their own little thing about God and why this album party was important to Emilio and important to them. And then around 10:14, something like that, after everyone had said what they wanted to say, I went up to Emilio and all my other coworkers that I hadn't seen in a little bit, because I've been pretty busy since the move, which we completed at the end of July, and just basically all the cleaning we've been doing around here and everything. It's just been crazy, so I really haven't been able to get in contact with everyone. I got one of my coworkers' numbers that I hadn't gotten before. I said goodbye to, or I said hey to some of my other coworkers, and I told Emilio I told him, hey, I love what you're doing here, man. I love that you're, this is a real, like, it was, a lot of that talk was real. I won't go into too much specifics because I think that's why he had a smaller party, and that's why he didn't invite a whole bunch of people. because he wanted it to be a nice little gathering, a little honest setting where he could really speak his mind and really talk about subjects that he was putting on his album. So it was a nice little package altogether. It was a nice little church and album party experience. Other than that, and basically after that, I told him I had to go because it was getting pretty late. I was tired because even though they're Christian rappers, they are energetic. Like had to have been at least like 70% of those songs had like heavy bass and beat to them. So people were dancing. It was mostly little kids up at the front. I can't say that. There were a lot of kids dancing, but there were also teenagers and some younger adults near the front dancing and getting into it. But me and one of my coworkers were standing there, and we were bobbing ourselves along to it, but I never really got into the whole jumping up and down, big really just waving myself around. I did it a little bit, but not too much. I didn't really do it when the other artists were up there, but when Emilio was up there, I was there basically for him, so I tried to support him as much as possible. Not that I didn't like the other guys. The other guys were actually really good, but I was mostly there for him since it was his album release party. So that's about it. But yeah, that was basically it. I just it's late at night, and I just hadn't made one of these in a while, so I figured I'd make one and show everyone my new look. Nice new little look, and also to just comment on the I didn't originally do this video for this, but also comment on the album release party, because it was really cool. It was a nice little production, but it was really well done. And even though I usually don't go to hip hop or rap concerts or rap parties, it was a nice little thing. And a lot of it had really good messages behind it. All right. I've been talking for 12 and a half minutes now, so I'm going to stop this here. Thank you, everyone who watches this, and I'll make another video later. Bye-bye.